Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder headquarters and the Bojangles studio high on Sassafras Mountain. CDA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder headquarters and the Bojangles Chicken Studio, high in the mountains of North Georgia. This is O'Neill Outside. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Yes, indeed, it's the weekend, for crying out loud. Let's celebrate. What do you think? Yes, indeed, WSB Radio and the SB Nation nationwide, from Houston and Sacramento, L.A., St. Louis, Pittsburgh, all across the country. It's O'Neill Outside Saturday mornings. Woman Williams is with me this morning. Yes, indeed, adding so much to the program, and indeed trying to keep O'Neill from fouling up too much like I did in the first hour. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. We'll have the Dodge Ram fishing report from Mac Farr. We'll have words of wisdom from Woman Williams, the Silent Hero Award, and indeed the Medal of Honor tribute within this hour. And of course, your calls, which we're going to get to every one of them if we can. And it's my obligation to be able to tell you that you should pick up the Atlanta Journal and Constitution because of all the coupons and the great news coverage. How about that?
Perfect.
I did it. That took care of that. So there you are. So it's 7 after the hour, and it's 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. In the first hour, we had O'Neill's foul up with regards to the breaks that came up, so I hope we're not getting fired from the SB Nation. And Houston is in Peachtree City. That's Karen Green and Brian Green. They're in Peachtree City channeling this marvelous information to the SB Nation. And Woman Williams and I are in the mountains in North Georgia, and after this show is over, we usually go back to sleep.
We try.
After breakfast, yes.
After breakfast.
Have a breakfast and go back to sleep. That's okay. So, you know the telephone numbers, and we have a lot scheduled. Upon our return in about 3 minutes, we'll have words of wisdom from Woman Williams and the Ram Fishing Report with Mac Farr. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, the number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country, and we're proud of it, and it's because of you and your calls and your support, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, a very special portion of the program headed your way right now, and it's called Words of Wisdom from Woman Williams, and you won't hear this anywhere else. Yes, indeed. There she is. Okay, what have you got in store for us today?
Well, first of all, you have to say
What?
words of words of wisdom brought to you by Mike Hayes.
Words of Wisdom brought to you by Saturday mornings by Hayes Auto Dealerships all over the state of Georgia. How about that?
There you go. Now you're good. Okay. When you've been to one shopping center, you've seen them all. You like that one?
I like that. Yeah.
Santa's helpers are subordinate clauses. Acupuncture. A
Okay.
jab well done. Okay, there was one more. Oh, here we go. Bakers trade bread recipes on a need-to-know basis.
Where do you get these things?
Same place I get everything else.
Internet.
Off the internet.
Internet. She's done it again.
It's plagiarism at its
Indeed.
finest.
All right, it's 13 after the hour. That's right. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. And here's Mac with the Ram Fishing Report. Good morning, Mac.
Good morning. How you doing, O'Neill?
I'm doing fine. Are you headed fishing today?
I am.
Good. Good for you.
It'll be a beautiful morning to be out on the lake. Fishing's been good, and all over the state. I'm just seeing on the striper side, particularly, guys just running up incredible numbers.
Really?
Very traditional summer fishing now, as to be expected. The water temperature on Lanier, we hit 85 this week. It's probably pretty comparable to most other lakes. So, you got to think open water. You got to think deep. You'll like this, O'Neill. This is the first week I had really good week power reeling. Fishing.
Oh
50
yeah,
to
I love
62.
that.
Yeah, so that's cranking up, and we were getting a really good lead core bite. If you're going today, you might want to use the lead core, if nothing else, for a search tool. And then if you ever find them ganged up a little bit, you can start dropping down lines and power reeling spoons or power reeling a big bucktail, a big 2-ounce chipmunk. So very summer-like patterns, very, very appropriate, since Thursday wasn't the first day of summer. So that was timed out about right.
That's about right. It happens every year, right?
Every year. Bass fishing's good as well. But, again, think in terms of summer structure. They're moving offshore, moving onto the humps. On Lanier, most of our spotted bass are 22 to 30 feet deep. They're ganging up in the brush. And I think that's a positive thing. This is one of the best times of year as far as just consistency in numbers, because you got fish grouped up. They're biting. I'm talking about the bass now. They're biting well. And it's not been hot enough long enough to make them really lethargic or pull them out where they're suspended in open water. So you got fish that are ganged up. They're recovered from the spawn. The water's warming up, so it's got their metabolism up. They're in that brush. They're ready to go. So it's good. It's time to go fishing, I guess is what I'm saying in a real long-winded way.
I was about to say it's time to give it a try.
Absolutely. And we've got a beautiful day today. I think some rain this afternoon, but this morning looks fantastic. And I don't know if today will be a complete rain out, but just watch the storms, but get out there and get after them, everybody. It's time to go.
And everything that you say, and I do this every week because it's very important. So whether you're in western North Carolina or South Carolina, East Tennessee, North Alabama, the things that you just got through saying about striper fishing and game fishing, as the summer begins, it applies.
Absolutely. And I've talked to people just this week on some of the Tennessee lakes, lots of guys from the Carolinas, and the basic patterns, the techniques are the same. You might have a little depth discrepancy from one lake to another, but still, it's all applicable to all lakes. They are all reacting to the weather basically the same. And in the case of the stripers, that hot water, he can't breathe. The hotter the water, the lower the parts of O2, so he's got to get deeper to where he can breathe, and that just happens. That's universal all over the Southeast.
I thought of you this week. I had a business trip to Kodak, Tennessee. I went to a client's office there and plant, and I was talking with one of the fellows in the plant, and he evidently is a tournament bass fisherman and well known for it. So I thought I'd try to get a lesson out of it, and his name is Rick, and he said, well, he was telling some of the other fellas standing around, he said, I won the tournament last night, and that's 3 weeks in a row that I won. And so I said, aha, here's an opportunity. So I said, Rick, if you had one thing for me to tell my radio audience this coming Saturday morning, what would you say to do about the rest of the summertime for striper and bass fishing? His reply very simply was, fish deep.
Fish deep. Sometimes you just need to turn around and cast off the other side of the boat.
That's exactly right. And it was right down my alley, and I thought of you, and I said, well, I'm going to tell Mac and get confirmation on that Saturday morning.
I think that's pretty good advice. I think deep fish sometimes aren't as pressured. I think they're more stable because the water, when you start getting 25, 30 feet, the water is not subject to changes like it is on the surface. Superficial changes. But plus, sometimes those fish down there deep, maybe not so much on Lanier because so many guys have picked up on this. Sometimes deeper fish aren't pressured as much.
I'm sure they're not. I recall saying boastfully that there are Lake Lanier was backed up in 1954. I'll bet there's schools of fish still that have never seen a lure.
I'm going to try and fix some of that here in about 45 minutes.
Okay. Thanks for calling, Mac.
Everybody be safe out there. Go fishing. Have a great weekend. O'Neill, we'll talk next week.
You betcha. There we go. 404-872-075800, 972-8255. Have you got something going on Facebook this morning?
No, Facebook's kind of quiet this
Oh,
morning.
it's okay.
I don't know why.
It won't be long.
Most people watch it in the rerun when it comes back on. They'll
I
watch
see.
it.
When it replays?
Yeah.
What time does the show replay on Facebook? Do you know?
She usually has it up there within.
By 8 o'clock.
Yeah, about
8
8 o'clock,
So
about
you
2
can
hours
watch
later.
O'Neill Outside at 8 o'clock on Facebook.
Yeah.
If that's the
Somewhere.
way I was going to do it, I would wait too.
Well, yeah.
There you are.
But some people have to get up and go to work. And then there are
and-
some people like your daughter who can't sleep, so she's awake listening right now.
Yeah, which daughter is that?
Number one.
Amy is awake
Mm-hmm.
now?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because Tim had to get up and go to work,
Oh.
and she woke up and couldn't go back to sleep, so she's listening. And
Well, she needs
Tim's
to go. I think cutting the yard and the backyard is the number one priority there in Covington, Georgia.
well, when you got that much yard to cut,
Yeah,
it takes
you
a
bet.
while.
It's 20 after the hour, 404-872-075800, 972-8255. Before we go to the break and the next call, it's my pleasure and it's self-promotion for you to go to Amazon.com or O'NeillOutside.com, and you will see there the opportunity for you to purchase a book called, appropriately, O'Neill Outside. You can get a print version or an e-version, and we'll have an audible version coming out in the next couple of weeks, and it's O'Neill Outside, people and places along the way, 65 years in the outdoors. It's not a how-to book. It's not a tip book. It's the people and places that I have been and the people that I met along the way in this business over the last almost 40 years of television and radio and all the tournament angling all the way back to fishing when I was 6 or 7 or 8 years old. It might be worth a read. I think you'll enjoy it. And $1 goes, for every sale, $1 goes to the Ronnie Thames Foundation for the treatment and rehabilitation of child burn victims. $1, whether it's an audible, an ebook, or a print. And we give $1 to them every single time. Okay, here we go. Paul? Well, at this point in time in the program this morning, and continue to enjoy it, this is the Silent Hero Award. This is for the EMT, the police, the fire, and so on. We'll have the Medal of Honor later on in the program, but I'm here to tell you this for June the 23rd, 2018. This is for Lucas Sobek. Occasionally, an EMT going above and beyond has the opportunity for a true recognition of their services. Lucas Sobek was off duty, which happens a lot when doing this, and he was driving home when he noticed a car on the side of the road, and the driver was unmoving, evidently unconscious. He immediately pulled over and found Carolyn Reinhart was unresponsive behind the wheel of the car. She had pulled over. He immediately called other EMTs and had them on the way. Then he broke the window and managed to free her from the car. She was having a heart attack, and he saved her life because he was an EMT that noticed everything around him, even off duty. After she recovered from what turned out to be the heart attack, she was able to meet him and thank him at a recognition ceremony. And very typically, Sobek, while grateful for the recognition, echoes many of the EMT stories when he insists he was only doing his job.
I think most of them feel that way too.
And that's why we have labeled this, with the help of the Ronnie Thames Foundation, as the Silent Hero Award. Because I would guess that out of the 1 million people that are listening to us right now, you never heard of this man's name at all, Lucas Sobeck. And we'll do the Medal of Honor later in the program. Yes,
And wonder how many EMTs have saved the lives of those thousands of people that are listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thousands upon thousands.
Yeah.
They're not in concerts. They're not rock stars, or they don't play baseball. They're not on the football field kneeling for the national anthem.
Yeah.
They're true heroes.
Yeah. I'll just mention this since it's my nephew,
All right.
Connor, who works at Grady.
Yes.
He's a paramedic, and he was awarded a certificate the other day because he saved a man's life.
Really?
And he got well and left the hospital, all because Connor saved his life.
Connor Williams, and he's at Grady.
He's paramedic at Grady.
Paramedic at Grady. See? True heroes are not necessarily, not exclusively, but not necessarily rock or movie stars or politicians, for God's sake, or any of those types, the names that you recognize. That's when we brought this up. At 29 after the hour. Now let's chat with Mike. I think if I could, just a minute, I'm sorry. Ready? Hey, I would have had it right. Here's Mike calling O'Neill outside. You're on the radio, Mike.
O'Neill, on Saturday morning, I always appreciate you and your wife on the way to work.
Well, I'm glad you called.
Well, I growed up one of the few people lucky enough to hunt his grandmother and his aunt's land right in front of my house and behind my house.
Uh-huh.
And 20 years ago, my brother and sister was gracious enough to let me buy the home place from them. And I remodeled it, and that's where I've been for 20 years.
Good for you.
And I begged my aunt and uncle, which had all the land behind me, my cousins after they got it, and all of them passed away. Their son inherited it last year.
Uh-huh.
And I've been begging for 5 acres back there since I was 17. I'm 62 now. And a while back, he called me and wanted to know if I was interested. And yesterday, I was able to close debt-free on 48 acres of the land I've hunted all my life.
Good for you. What a blessing.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm telling you, my
After
number
all
one
these
goal,
years.
I've saved for it because the land kept going up. I kept saving. He sold it to me at the I don't want it, but I want to keep it in the family price.
Good.
But we got deer. We've had, me and my son-in-law's had at least for years now. We got deer, rabbit, everything you would think of, dove, except for quail. And I'm managing it. If I could come up with just one covey of quail, that would be my goal, just to see one, not shoot it.
Yeah, you could call that the home covey.
I've done everything I can think to plant back there to entice one to come in there from somewhere. And if you can get a covey of quail in middle Georgia, me and my uncle, when I was a little boy, before I could shoot a gun, we could walk this, say he had 100 acres and 130 acres, and my grandmother had 130 acres there.
Boy.
And we could get about 5 or 6 coveys and hunt single birds all day long, up to the point where I was, toting his gun back. He done got sold.
Uh-huh.
So I've really been blessed with it.
I'm glad that you are, and for the listeners here, and you don't have quail there now, not because you hunted them, but it's because of predators and loss of habitat.
When I was growing up, there was dairies all the way around this land, and with all the cows and the poop and the grain, they were birds everywhere. And yet nobody hunted them. See, after my uncle got sick, nobody hunted birds for, Lord, I guess the last 30 years, 20-something years.
Mm-hmm.
But they dwindled away. That, and we used to have felarks by the thousands, if you know what they are.
I do.
Phil, which I'm sure you do. And we don't have not even a felark. We've been planting wheat and rye and oats, and I mean, because there's 2 fields, and I guess altogether there's about 10 acres of it, and I let it go to seed, thinking we could get some of them back, and it's just, it's tough. I'm gonna buy me some birds and turn them loose, knowing they won't make it a week, just like see one run out there.
I don't know if they can, but it would certainly be worth. The subject matter deserves it for you to telephone the Department of Natural Resources in Georgia and talk to those folks. They may have.
I'm going.
I was going to say they may have some things for you to consider that may help you.
I'm gonna try, because like I said, this land has not even been cut over. It's still got the trees on it. It's a miracle.
Well, give the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, the Wildlife Resources Division. I'm sure they would love to entertain the subject.
I will. One of the game wards, Nikki, lives close to me, and she's always helpful. Mm-hmm. And I'll work through her.
You bet. Well, congratulations to you, my friend.
Well, again, I appreciate your show, and y'all have a great day.
You too, pal. There you go. And there you go. I'm learning how to do the screen here. Did you know?
I'm just getting prouder by the minute.
I know. We've been doing this for 28 years. Okay, let's talk. Hey, here's our buddy Mark calling. What do you say, my good friend? What's going on?
Well, it looks like it's going to be another pretty Saturday, O'Neill. I'm following a buddy of mine to St. Simons to show him around on his boat and try to catch a few Spanish and kingfish, I guess.
It's time, isn't it? The water temperature's just right.
Oh, yeah, Doughboy Sound and St. Mary's River Channel, I mean, it's on fire. Anybody up there wants to come down and get one of our good charter guys, go catch 3-pound average Spanish mackerel and
wow.
kingfish to your tired of 25 pounds right now is the time.
25-pound kings, huh?
Yeah, well, the rudder right now, a little eye bottom off Sapelo Island, they're running 15 to 25 is the average. And, some of your and I mutual friends, Wendell, Harper,
yes,
Mark Nobles, any of them set those trips up. And I know Mark, I think day before yesterday, was back at the dock by lunchtime. They had 30 Spanish mackerel in the box that average between 3 and 3.5 pounds.
Boy, that's quite a catch. That's a big Spanish mackerel and lots of them.
There's a half-day trips. They're easy, too. I mean, we're catching them 2 to 3 miles offshore right in the middle of Doughboy Sound.
Oh, boy. Well, that's good to hear. Now, good luck to you today. I know you're going to catch a bucket load.
Yes, sir. I'd like to give one shout-out real quick to the Firehouse in Fayette County. If Creighton and those boys are listening, longtime friend of mine's an EMT there. He fishes and hunts with me pretty regular. Every time I call in, he texts me and says, I heard you on the radio.
Well, there you go. Well, I'm glad you put it together for them, and I appreciate them listening to the program.
Yes, sir. They listen to you pretty much every Saturday.
You bet.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Yeah, you have a good, safe weekend. Catch some and let us know about it, all right? Mighty fine. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, 36 after the hour on a Saturday morning. Yes, ma'am. You look like you have something you want to say.
Well, I was. Are we? Is it break time?
I've got 40 seconds. You want to wait?
No, I'll talk later.
Okay. Well, let me give you the telephone numbers again then. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. And when we return at 40 minutes after the hour, we'll bring you the Medal of Honor tribute. Thing that we started a few years ago. And this is a good one. And I'll have a hard time getting through it. I'll bet. Huh?
That happens occasionally.
Yeah,
yes,
it does.
yes. Okay.
I put myself in his shoes too often.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Corporal Dwayne Dewey, organization, Marine Corps, Korea, 1952. Corporal Dewey was serving as a gunner in a machine gun platoon in action against the North Koreans. A grenade landed close to his position while he and an assistant gunner were receiving medical attention from other injuries. Dewey, although suffering intense pain from his injuries, immediately pulled the corpsman to the ground, cast him aside, and, shouting warning to the other Marines around him, bravely smothered the grenade with his body, personally absorbing the full force of the explosion to save his friends and companions from certain death and sacrificing his own life.
Well, you did pretty good.
Dwayne Dewey, Marine, Korea, 1952.
What a
Wow.
hero. What a hero.
41
of
after
them.
the hour. What did you have, darling?
So many of these heroes.
Yeah.
You know, we'll never get through all of them, but we're going to try.
Right, and you can, let me mention before you start, you can go to o'neilloutside.com on the home page, and you'll see a small medallion there on the home page that says the Medal of Honor. And it has all of the stories for all the recipients of the Medal of Honor. And it's quite inspiring. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have just a little thing I want to throw out here.
Okay.
Because it's summertime, wildlife is out. You know, we live in the North Georgia mountains. In North Georgia mountains, we are overrun with bears,
Yes.
actually. And we have people up here in the areas where we live, and I'm sure everywhere there's a bear, that take it upon themselves to feed them. Please, please do not feed the bears. There's a reason why the DNR says a fed bear is a dead bear, and that is true because they lose their natural instinct to forage and feed themselves. They're not starving.
No.
They will eat. They will eat anything. And they're being a nuisance. They're coming up on people's porches. One tried to get in a lady in the neighborhood's front door the other day. They have learned to open the doors.
Right, that's what I was about to say, too.
And actually, I saw a video of one opening a van door up here. So please don't feed these animals. They don't need it. And you're killing them. They are going to die. If the DNR has to come out and trap this nuisance bear, because it's been seen on several people's porches, and I think it was on our porch as well, they're going to come trap him, and he's not going to be relocated into another part of the wilderness. He's going to be put to sleep.
Right.
You're doing them no favors.
Matter of fact, one of the things we asked about that a few years ago when they came in and took so many of them out.
Yes.
I asked if they moved the bear, if they actually relocated the bear far away, okay, would he revert to his natural inclinations to be fed?
No.
The answer is no.
No.
First thing he'll do is he'll go up to a large box like this, a house that smells like humans,
And there's people out there.
and he will, there's food there.
And O'Neill and I have actually we sit out on the deck, and we're how far in the air off the ground?
20 feet.
20 feet. And so, you know, we see them pass through the yard. And if they see us, they stop and walk up, you know, and sit there and look up at us, waiting to be fed, because that's what the other people do. They actually feed these bears on their deck, and that's making them come on our deck, and we don't want them on our deck. And we actually had to just get up and go in the house because they want to sit there and beg. They will actually lie down and sit there and look at you. It's amazing, and they're so beautiful, and it's so much fun to see them.
It's a novelty.
It really is, and it's such a shame because we're killing them, you know. And in this part of Georgia, for some reason, we have a lot of the mamas have twins and triplets, more so than on the other side of Georgia, according to the DNR.
Yes, our home here in North Georgia is adjacent to our little piece of property is adjacent to what's called the Dawson Forest. and there's a strain, a generation of bears that are quite large here, and plenty of them. How many, do you recall how many the last time we had a visit, how many bears they say
They had to take out. They had to
how
remove.
many that are in this part of Georgia?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember
It's
that.
hundreds and
Oh yeah.
hundreds
Oh yeah.
of bears.
Yeah.
And we virtually see them almost every day.
Oh yeah. Almost without a doubt.
And there's one fellow in the neighborhood who feeds. Oh God, I like this fellow. He's a great guy, hard worker, but he feeds the bears by hand.
He feeds them peanuts and peanut butter sandwiches and what have you. But the bottom line here is what we're trying to get across to people. Please don't feed the
Don't feed the
bears.
bears.
Leave
Dead bear's
them
a dead bear,
alone.
right?
A fed bear is a dead bear.
Okay, let's go to Larry. He's calling on O'Neill outside. Good morning, Larry.
Morning, O'Neill. I've been listening to you for about 20-something years now.
Well, mighty fine.
A couple of weeks ago or so, you were talking to somebody about the parks being open 24 hours a day. I was wondering if Sweetwater Creek Park was open 24 hours a day.
I don't know. The only place you're going to be able to get that information reliably, you can't get it from me, and that is to go to the DNR website. And the Department of Natural Resources internet website, and that's complete information. And when you go to the DNR website, you get trout stocking information and lake conditions and fishing reports and park information and on and on and on. It's quite extensive. They do a great job of that. I can't answer that question, but that certainly can be.
I've caught a few largemouth bass out there at 5 and 8 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
And every year, 2 weeks before Father's Day, or 3 weeks before Father's Day, they put about 4,000 channel cats in there for the kids fishing on the Father's Day weekend.
Uh-huh.
And I've caught 30 or 40 of them out there, nice channel cats, 2 and 3 pounder.
Oh, boy. Well, channel cat's good eating, too.
Oh, they're delicious.
Absolutely. You just learn how to clean them, and yes, sir, and they'll bite, too, as long as you put something out on the bottom that smells bad.
Well, not smelling bad. I use oatmeal balls with strawberry, raspberry, Jello powder mixed in with my oatmeal, make good balls out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what they like. I caught a largemouth out there a few years ago. It weighed 5 pounds 2 ounces. I caught him on the lime flavored oatmeal ball.
Good for you. Make your own bait, huh? I know when I was a teenager, I did much the same. We made our own dough balls. And one of the tricks that I had learned, well, somebody taught me, is you put a little cotton in the mixture, and it helps hold them together.
Well, if you mix them up and make your balls up, don't put too much water in that oatmeal. Make your balls up, let them dry a little bit. Then you just dip them in water to wet them and shove the hook down them. They stay on there pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, you're a successful catfish and bass fisherman. That's good.
Yeah, I'll be 71 next month. I've been listening to you for at least 20 years or longer.
Well, you're very kind. You're a loyal listener, and I do appreciate that. I really do. It's sometimes it gets lonesome. You know what I mean?
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
we wonder.
I'm glad your wife's doing a lot better. It's good to hear on the radio.
Yeah, Gail has had.
Thank you very much.
Gail had her right knee replaced. Doesn't that sound funny?
Yeah, it does. Feels funny too.
Yeah, had her right knee. Hey, let's just replace that knee. Yeah, which is a long-term recovery. So there you are.
Well, I got a neighbor's gonna have one of hers done next week, and then about 3 months later, she's gonna have a hip replacement, full hip replacement on both sides.
Wow. Well, we have a mature audience. Glad you called, pal.
I enjoy your show so very much. Thank you, O'Neill.
You bet. I appreciate you listening and being loyal, and we do that. Now, oh, my goodness, now it's time for a Woman Williams to talk to Mike Hayes.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
I'm glad to hear your voice again. Great.
Good to hear from you, too. Always enjoy you. I wanted to pass something along to you. A few weeks ago, our youngest grandson, Cody, was up here, and
Right.
he was riding around with me in my Chrysler 300. You know, my Chrysler 300 that I love so much.
Yes.
So he really liked that car. So anyway, it came time for him to buy a car, and he bought him a used Chrysler 200, and he absolutely loves it. I wanted to tell you that, and it made me think about. I know you can drive any car you want to up there. What do you drive?
Well, I hate to admit this, and O'Neill's going to laugh. I love trucks. I am a Ram driver all the time.
Well, that's not unusual. Don't most men love to drive a truck?
I guess that's what it is. And you got me a new 19 yesterday.
You did?
The new models are absolutely awesome. They've really done some great improvements on them this time.
You know, sometimes you get to wondering how much more can they improve them? They're so fabulous already.
That's right.
Well,
they put 4 more inches in the back seat, so it's more comfortable for the big guy in the back seat to take it fishing with you.
Yeah.
So it's just really great.
So, well, we all have our favorites, I guess. I certainly love my Chrysler 300. You love your Ram, and now Cody, he's loving his Chrysler 200. That's pretty good. I thought that was pretty good.
And my grandson just bought him a 200 too, so everybody likes those cars.
Yeah, they're a dream to drive, that's for sure. Well, all
How
right.
about that?
You got a big weekend planned?
Yes, we do. We're going to work in the yard, we hope.
Oh boy. Well, maybe it'll rain and you'll get to take a nap.
Well, we had an inch here yesterday, so yes, it's going to rain.
Oh boy. All right. Well, you hang in there and get that grass cut, and I'll talk to you next. No, we won't talk to you next week. It'll be 2 weeks from now.
See you in 2 weeks.
You got it. See you, honey.
Thank you, ma'am.
There you go. And I think I fouled up that break again.
Oh, man.
If I can keep Houston from cutting her throat after today, then maybe the show will last a few more years longer.
I'm not sure.
Well,
I am not sure. How did you mess up the break?
I've got some calls.
How did you mess up the break?
I went too early again.
You mean to talk to Mike?
Yeah, I think I did. I don't know. This is a mystery every Saturday.
Yeah.
Isn't
what
it?
has changed? Is it this new?
I'm supposed to wait for Houston to tell me to start. I'm starting anyway. Okay, Houston, you got that? I just sometimes I can't hear her when she says that. Okay, 57 after the hour. Quickly now, let's talk to Black is calling. What do you say, my good friend?
Don't feed the bears. I
Okay,
tell
won't
you,
feed the
O'Neill,
bears.
listen, I got to come up there to see you. It looked like, man, you're not going to get to go fishing.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, wait a minute now. You told me we was going fishing.
Well, I'm going to one day.
All right, buddy. I love y'all, and listen, God bless you, and have a great weekend.
I will do that. Thanks for calling, pal.
Listen, my wife's doing better, and tell Ms. Williams we love the show.
Black, I appreciate you calling. It means a lot that we get congratulations on the program.
And I'm enjoying that hat much more.
I'm glad.
God
you
bless
did.
you, O'Neill.
You bet. See you soon, pal. How about Sam is calling lastly on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. You know, I used to be at Seminole. I'm at Lady Follow down.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I used to call a lot when I lived down there.
Yeah.
What the question is, when you go fishing for them big cats, do you set the hook or do you let the fish set the hook?
Oh, I just let him eat it.
Just let him have it.
I just let him have it. That's
You
what I
don't
do.
pick up the rod until he's got it?
Pardon me, say again?
I said, you don't pick up the rod until he's hooked yourself?
No, I just let the the fish pull it down. I just let him.
Yeah.
I let him swim away with it, and that's all I do. I don't set the hook. Do you?
Well, okay. Well, sometimes I can't stand it. You know?
That's right. It's not
a
the
couple
fish.
big
It's you.
ones. I have missed 7 in a row, but I have caught 7 in a row.
There you go.
But I don't know the best way to do it.
Usually, if you miss a catfish, it's because of the size of the bait.
Yeah.
Hey,
Probably
glad you
is.
called,
Maybe.
pal. I got to go. Call more often and earlier in the show, would you please? It's 59 after the hour. This is O'Neill. Another edition of 2 Hours of Outdoors has been headed your way. I hope you enjoy it. Woolman Williams is here, and Karen and Brian Green in Peachtree City. Paul is in the WSB studio, and this is O'Neill Outside. And let's leave it with you. Leave it with this. If you're too busy to go fishing and take a kid along, you're too busy. And I'll see you guys next week.